So, welcome to LARPing in the fucking kitchen. Just picked up this Grand Power Stribog SP9A1 Gen 2. As you can see, it's clear. And I was going to try to accessorize it with some things I got laying around. I got some Foregrip accessories, you know, some illumination, and a red dot I got lying around. This is a Vortex Strikefire 2. I've got a straight mount and a cantilever mount for it. And I've got a spare part to cannibalize some screws from. So, put some accessories together and see what we can do. First, what I'm going to do is mount the light. Light's pretty important. You can't see what you're shooting at, then you probably shouldn't try shooting at it. So, we're going to try mounting the light first. And what I've got is this little offset Picatinny mount that I'm going to probably mount on the top or possibly the bottom. I haven't decided yet. And essentially, all I'm going to do is put this Surefire G2X into this mount here. So it enables me to mount this handheld light onto a weapon. And there's two options you could use it. It's got a momentary push button tail cap on the back of it right now. And you can twist it to leave it on. Or I've also got this pressure pad tail cap, which I'm not too big of a fan of, but it does provide a pressure pad if you want to run a pressure pad, but it's not a Surefire pressure pad or a tail cap. This is some weird off-brand tail cap that I found. I'd rather keep the Surefire light as it is unmolested. It, you know, provides a little bit more reliability. So we'll get started. I gotta find a screw because I lost that screw. So first I gotta cannibalize the screw off of one of this cheap ass mount, put it in this mount and see if we can make it work. I wanna kind of figure out where I wanna mount this thing. I think I'm gonna try for the opposite side. That way you kind of reach over like that to press the tail cap. So it has to be a pretty deliberate action. Make sure the backup irons are still usable. Even though I'm pretty sure when I put that red dot on there, they're going to be very unusable. So we'll tighten this up and go from there. Got the mount on the Picatinny. Now we'll put the light inside. So that way the tail cap is still exposed. So if I need to change my batteries out, I can still unscrew the tail cap and get to my batteries so I can switch them out on the fly. Make sure that's good to go. I can still access my batteries to change my batteries out if I need to. And also be able to tighten it all the way on to leave the light on if I have to. Let's go to momentary. I can reach over the top and momentarily turn the light on. That's what I want. And this is a very deliberate button, so you have to really push that button in. So that way if you don't mean to push that button, you're not going to accidentally push that button in and give your position away. So next we'll just go ahead and put the red dot. Kind of think about where we're going to put it. I like to keep red dots more forward so that you can have a wider field of view so you don't lose your peripheral vision. If you have it too close to your face, you kind of more tend to look and get lost inside the tube of the red dot. So especially with this being a large tube, I'm not really a big fan of this red dot, but it's what I've got laying around. So I'm going to mount this pretty far forward. I think I'm going to try right here. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to torque that down here in a second. I want to make sure this is in the right position that I want it. It's not terrible. It's very, very awkward to get to that light. So I think I'm going to knock it back one or two more Picatinny slots. All right, that feels a lot better. Yeah, we'll run that. Go ahead and tighten that scope down. make sure everything's tight on it. This is not the way I would like to set it up, but like I said, it's just spare parts we've got laying around. And for the fore-end hand grip, I've got two options. I'm not going to run that because that looks too much like a vertical foregrip. This is the same thing, but it's cut. Looks more like a hand stop rather than a vertical foregrip. I don't know how usable that would be. Might run that. I do like the idea of running this. So we might run this. It doesn't really give you much of an option. And no, that's going to feel really awkward. Might just run nothing at all. So if this is mounted down here, we'll run the Magpul AFG. This is the AFG2. We'll run that and see how that feels. It's really tight. All right, let's get that lined up. Push that forward just a tiny bit. Run it right there. All right. Gives your finger up here a little something to latch onto. That does not feel ergonomic at all, trying to reach over the top with that angled foregrip. But without having to reach for that light, if I were to C-clamp around the charging handle, which is non-reciprocating, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, so what I'm thinking, this is the cantilever mount that comes with the Strikefire 2. As it stands with that mount right here, I can't use the backup irons, which sucks. That means if this dies, then I'd have to manually take this off in order to run my iron sights. Put it back on the cantilever that it came with and see if the iron sights are able to co-witness through that little hole right there. Wow. Yeah, it perfectly co-witnesses. Let's see if I can show you guys. You can barely see it, but it definitely works. So that's going to be the way to go for that. All right, still can reach my light. Can co-witness through my iron sights. It's not in a bad position. I can still access my light. Yeah, let's leave it right there. As you use firearms, so I haven't even had a chance to shoot this gun yet, but as it gets used, I'm going to start to realize what I do and don't like. So I might not like this angled foregrip. I might not like where this light is at in the future. I definitely don't like this red dot. But for the meantime, I'm going to run with it, do a little bit of shooting with it, and see how it goes from there. So the other light option I had was going to be this nightstick. But the controls are very positive, so you have to really mean to switch that light on for it to turn on, which I like, because on the Streamlight TLR1, if you come out of holster and you meet your hand up with the gun, you can definitely easily switch that light on, which I don't really like, because if you're drawing your gun, you might not want to reveal your position right away. So I do like that you have to be extremely deliberate when pushing that button to turn that light on. This light actually does have a pretty great throw compared to my TLR1HL. But this is about 6 years old and the LED's been pretty jacked up. As you can see, the lens is pretty dirty too, but yeah, the years haven't been very good on this light. So there's a comparison of the TLR1HL 6 years old versus a brand new nightstick. It's pretty night and day. That's pretty impressive. And then here is the Surefire G2X. That's got a pretty good throw on it too. For a personal defense weapon that's not going to be pushed out any more than really 50 yards, you don't really need like one of those mod lights that throw the light up to 100, 200 yards. This is going to do the job just fine if it's in the backyard or in the house. You don't want a light that's going to be too bright either, because if you hit a reflective surface and the light splashes back to you, you're going to be blinding yourself. So Surefire G2X is not a bad option. I keep 2 of them. Got one mounted on the gun, and this is the pocket one. They're fairly inexpensive. You can get them for between $60 to $80, and it's a freaking Surefire. It's a Surefire flashlight. You can't go wrong with a Surefire flashlight. So if you can't afford a Surefire Scout or a Scout Mini to put on your gun, why not get a G2X and just mount the bitch on your gun, and you've got a Surefire on your gun. You could say, yeah man, I've got a Surefire light on my gun. It ain't the one you're thinking, but it's still a Surefire. Alright, so with that being said, the only thing that's really missing right now is a sling. And as the Stribog comes out the box, you don't get very many sling options. You don't get any sling options at all, unless if you tie a freaking shoestring to the brace, which you could, but I'm not doing that. Midwest Industries makes a quick detach that clips right on the brace here. I don't remember which model brace this is, but it clips into these 2 holes here. So you have a quick detach here. Obviously you've got M-LOK up in the front, so you can run an M-LOK quick detach here. When it comes to pistol caliber carbines, this is very, very affordable. They can be had for just about $800, $900 if you find them in the right place. And you've got charging handle that's in the right place. You've got ambidextrous, very ergonomic safety. You've got mag releases on both sides and a slide stop slide release on both sides. So you can lock the slide with your trigger finger, and when you do your reload, you can come up and hit the slide release with your support hand thumb, much like an AR-15. So everything that I've seen on the gun itself, everything makes sense, except for the magazines. And if you've watched any other videos on this gun, then you'll know the mags are an issue, especially these straight mags. The curved ones feel pretty good. I've had them loaded up all day today. That one feels good. I haven't had a chance to shoot it or anything yet, so we're just gonna have to see. But the straight mag, when I was unloading it to do some dry fire with the gun, I noticed as I was unloading the rounds, I would strip one out and the next one would just fly right out. So that was not very comforting. But the curved mags seem pretty good. Pretty reminiscent of the CZ Scorpion magazines. And these could be had for about $30 each. So gonna be testing this out, and these, I'm pretty sure, I would not invest money in these. But the curved ones, we'll see how reliable these ones are, and we'll go from there. Bolt lock on empty, and the mags fall right out. So you can do AR style reloads pretty quick. So if your manual of arms is AR-15, this isn't going to be too much different. It's got a charging handle a lot like a SCAR 16, SCAR 17. AR-15 safety, that's ambidextrous, which is really nice. It's very clicky. And another thing is the trigger on these guns are actually not bad at all. So we'll see if we can feel this trigger out together. Sorry about my ugly finger. Double check clear one more time. Yep. Here we go. So on the trigger itself, there's not a wall, there's not really any take up. As you start squeezing, a little bit of take up there, and then a break. Reset. It's tactile, you can feel it, it's audible. It's pretty good. We'll go through it one more time. So I think there's a little bit of trigger creep there. Tiny bit of creep. More creep. Break. A little bit of creep, and then reset. It's not bad. You know, you can get this without the SB Tactical brace for around $600–700, depending where you get it. So it's really tough to beat that money. So I'll be shooting it, testing it, see how it does, and go from there. You know, if it runs good, it runs good. Probably hold on to it. It fits in a backpack perfectly. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I think that's going to conclude the video. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think down below, or no. Doesn't matter to me. Y'all have a good night.